Newsom wants to do the Maui plan. What do you think the Maui locals think of the Maui plan? Yeah. I'm sorry, there aren't any more locals living there anymore.
Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass have already proven their incompetence and poor leadership during the Los Angeles wildfires. Now, as we experience rampant lawlessness and civil unrest, it's never been more clear they're unable to respond effectively and responsibly during calamity. Whether it's sheer incompetence or outright malevolence, the reality is stark. California's in a state of turmoil, and I ask my fellow Angelenos, why are Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass still in office?
Mel Gibson just sparked a firestorm, and now Gavin Newsom is the one feeling the heat. The famous Hollywood star has jumped right into the growing debate about where California is headed and how its once powerful movie empire seems to be slowly falling apart. He went straight at Newsom and explained why he thinks the Golden State is coming undone piece by piece. And, as always, if you're here for intense political showdowns, make sure you hit subscribe. Now, let's get into it.
Newsom, since he's been in, whatever you call it, office, has brought us nothing but rampant crime, acute homelessness, horrendous inflation. I mean, the industry I work in, the film industry, this used to be the mecca of filmdom. There's no more.
Mel Gibson came out swinging, strongly criticizing Gavin Newsom over what he sees as one crisis after another happening in California during his time in charge. Gibson says crime is rising fast, prices are going up and squeezing families, and homelessness has grown out of control. Meanwhile, he believes Newsom seems stuck and unable to fix things. Gibson also warned that Hollywood isn't the unstoppable giant it used to be, but instead feels like a fading shadow under Newsom's leadership.
The tech industry has taken off, and many businesses just left. They blew out of town because he's made it untenable for people to make a living.
According to Gibson, the problems are clear. Big companies are leaving California because of very high taxes and heavy rules that make it hard to do business. Tesla Incorporated moved to Texas. Oracle Corporation did the same. And Hewlett-Packard Enterprise left the place where Silicon Valley was born. Chevron Corporation, Charles Schwab Corporation, and Palantir Technologies also packed up and moved to states with friendlier business rules. Since 2019, more than 200 companies have left, showing just how frustrated many are with high costs and endless red tape. These are not small companies quietly slipping away. They are huge industry leaders sending a loud warning. When the same companies that helped build California's strong economy start leaving, it makes people wonder what trouble they see coming that others are only now beginning to notice.
I had a job where I had to film down the street in L.A. One day filming. It was cheap. You fly the entire crew to Bulgaria. You feed them, house them for 3 days, shoot, come back.
California's shining star is hurting. Hollywood, once seen as untouchable and the top filmmaking center in the world, is losing productions quickly. Gibson explains it in simple terms. Filming in California now costs a lot more money compared to places like Canada, the UK, or Eastern Europe, where governments offer big tax breaks. Movie studios follow the money, and right now that money is not in California.
That was more cost effective. He did sort of make some concessions, but he made sure it was just enough so the kids still ran off the farm and went somewhere else to work. Thematically. Wanted to appear magnanimous.
On paper, Gavin Newsom made big moves. He increased Hollywood tax credits from around $300 million to over $700 million each year. He added refundable credits so studios could actually get money back. And he expanded the rules so more movies and streaming shows could qualify. It looked like a bold plan to stop productions from leaving. But, according to critics, it still wasn't enough. For many studios, California's high overall costs were still too heavy, even with the new incentives. Every time a production leaves, it takes jobs, money, and status with it. Gibson argues this isn't random bad luck. He believes it's the result of high taxes and strict regulations from state leaders. What used to be the entertainment capital of the world is now struggling to keep up, watching other regions grab the future of filmmaking, while California risks losing its legacy.
So now he and Karen They want us to trust them to reimagine our city for us.
No.
Yeah. Oh, no, he's going to build.
No.
Mel Gibson speaks very directly. He says Gavin Newsom cannot fix the problems he created. In Gibson's opinion, California's economic struggles, public safety issues, and Hollywood's decline all happened while Newsom was in charge. That, he argues, makes him the wrong person to lead a comeback. Gibson says real leadership means taking responsibility, not making excuses, and he claims he sees very little change in direction. He also questions Karen Bass, saying he has no strong confidence in either of them to bring back stability, rebuild trust with businesses, or return Hollywood to its former glory. For Gibson, trust has been broken, and without trust, real recovery becomes extremely difficult.
Criminal.
Newsom wants to do the Maui plan. What do you think the Maui locals think of the Maui plan? Yeah. I'm sorry, there aren't any more locals living there anymore. They all had to leave town.
Mel Gibson also pointed to the terrible wildfires that burned through the Pacific Palisades, forcing many families to run from their homes to stay safe. He did not hold back in criticizing Gavin Newsom, saying he believes there was a serious failure in leadership. Gibson claims the state ignored simple safety steps that might have reduced the damage. He described the response as slow and not strong enough, leaving neighborhoods exposed and at risk. In his view, these fires were not just natural disasters. He believes they showed poor management at the top. By not preparing properly and by mishandling the response, he argues, Newsom allowed the damage to grow worse, putting lives and homes in danger and weakening public trust in California's ability to protect its people.
They all had to leave town. You think the people of the Palisades or Altadena are going to be consulted about how their areas are reimagined by Newsom?
No. They want to really come housing.
Right after the Pacific Palisades fires, Gavin Newsom announced he would meet with a group of prospectors to evaluate the land. Many people were surprised. To critics, it seemed obvious that the first step should have been finding out who was responsible and taking fast action to prevent more damage. Instead, Newsom appeared focused on long-term development plans, which some felt placed future economic goals ahead of the immediate needs of residents who had just lost homes and security. Critics say this showed a clear gap between leadership and everyday Californians who were still dealing with shock and loss. For many, it sent a troubling message that planning for future profits could take priority over handling urgent crises happening right now.
I mean, one of the most pathetic, and unspeakable things I've seen was when Karen Bass, in order to shift blame and culpability from herself, wiped it on the fire chief. To her end of the process, speaking the truth about how the department had been defunded.
Some expected Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass to take full responsibility for the damage from the Palisades fires. Instead, they publicly blamed the fire chief, which critics saw as avoiding responsibility for their own decisions. The situation felt ironic to many because Newsom and Bass had approved budgets that reduced funding for the fire department, leaving crews short on staff, tools, and resources. Critics asked a simple question: how can an underfunded department be expected to handle a major disaster perfectly? They argue that this management failure did not just increase damage, but also put lives at risk and showed a pattern of avoiding accountability. True leadership, many say, means standing by your decisions, not shifting blame onto firefighters risking their lives.
Now Gavin was asked for $40 billion in federal dollars to do whatever he has in mind. Why would we trust him with that kind of funding?
Mel Gibson has also questioned how Gavin Newsom handles taxpayer money. He says that even though huge amounts of money were spent during Newsom's time in office, clear accountability has been hard to see. From billions directed toward the high-speed rail project to large sums set aside for wildfire prevention and firefighting, Gibson argues that the results do not seem to match the spending. In his opinion, this pattern weakens public trust and raises serious concerns about Newsom's financial leadership. If California struggles to properly manage its own projects or emergency efforts, Gibson suggests it is difficult to imagine handling even larger responsibilities in the future. And Gibson is not the only critic speaking out. Jon Voight has also been a consistent and outspoken critic of the governor.
You're a fool blaming Trump. What are you doing for this destruction of these animals destroying Los Angeles? Are you there talking calmly with them, you fool? They would burn you down like they're burning the cars and the American flag with no regard for humanity. This is not about Trump. This is about protecting the people from these animals and criminals trying to destroy us. And our police force, are they supposed to stand there, let rocks hit them, kill them? Who's going to save them? You? President Trump called in the National Guard and the Marines to help with these destructive, barbaric riots.
Jon Voight was very direct when he criticized Gavin Newsom over the anti-IC riots that shook Los Angeles months ago. He accused the governor of standing by while unrest grew, with violent clashes involving police, damaged property, and neighborhoods left feeling scared and tense. To Voight and others, Newsom's response seemed slow, distant, and too weak during a moment that needed strong and immediate leadership. As the situation worsened and images of destruction spread nationwide, calls for tougher action increased. With disorder continuing, Donald Trump ordered the National Guard to step in, bringing federal involvement, but also creating major political controversy. Newsom responded by criticizing the move as federal overreach. However, in Voight's view, the damage had already been done, and the lack of leadership had revealed deeper problems in California's stability.
All you do is cause chaos for the people. You're a disgrace. You're nothing but a lying dog for the hopes of becoming the president one day. God is my witness, truth will prevail because of your faults and your incompetence for California's failures. We the people, I stand with Donald Trump to make this state great again. We the people choose Donald Trump to save America. And we're in danger with threats from terrorists now, and we must protect our country. This has now become good against evil, and evil will lose because our President of the United States of America was sworn in to protect this nation's greatest gifts: freedom, safety, prosperity. And he will, because he is the greatest president since Abraham.
Jon Voight delivered a sharp message to Gavin Newsom, saying leadership should be judged by results, not speeches. He explained that trust is not simply given. It must be earned through stability, growth, and public confidence, which he believes California has been steadily losing. Voight said voters today are paying close attention and connecting current decisions with future consequences. In his opinion, California has become a real-life example, and many people feel uneasy about the outcome. If Newsom has struggled to maintain order, economic progress, and public trust in one state, Voight argues it is reasonable to question his readiness for national leadership. For him, higher office is not built on ambition alone. It depends on proven results, and he believes voters will compare Newsom's record with California's visible decline.
See, along with that federal money should come a federal investigation into what...
The reality is stark. California's in a state of turmoil. And I ask my fellow Angelenos, why are Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass still in office? How much more of their destructive decision-making masquerading as leadership are we going to tolerate?
Mel Gibson went even further, saying that Californians should have pushed to impeach Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass completely. In his view, the longer they stay in power, the worse the state's issues become. Rising crime, growing homelessness, economic pressure, and a film industry that has lost its sparkle are all part of the picture he describes. He argues that ignoring these problems has allowed poor management to settle in deeper, draining trust and limiting opportunity. For Gibson, accountability is not optional. He believes it is the only way to stop the downward slide. He says impeachment or any serious action to change leadership would have sent a strong message that failing Californians has consequences. If nothing changes, he warns, the chaos will only grow. Without bold steps, he believes the decline will not just continue, but speed up, affecting millions of people who call California home. That's the end of today's story. If you found this interesting, press the like button and subscribe for more updates like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.